The declassification of Document 157, related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, has unveiled a complex web of intrigue surrounding Cuba's role in the political landscape of Latin America during the Cold War. The revelations paint a vivid picture of a nation under Fidel Castro that sought to extend its revolutionary reach far beyond its shores, resembling the historical ambitions of the Comintern. This modern-day iteration of international communism sought not merely to inspire, but to actively engage in the subversion of governments across the continent. At the heart of this strategy was a potent mix of ideological fervor and practical support. Castro's Cuba positioned itself as a beacon of revolutionary thought, offering not only inspiration, but also tangible assistance to various insurgent movements. The documents reveal a systematic approach to spreading communism, where Cuba served as both a mentor and a benefactor to groups aspiring to overthrow established regimes. This dual role allowed Cuba to cultivate a network of revolutionary allies, each one contributing to a broader narrative of resistance against perceived imperialism and oppression. The evidence presented in the documents underscores the depth of Cuba's involvement in these revolutionary movements. Cuban nationals were not merely passive observers. They were actively engaged in fomenting unrest and instability in countries across Latin America. The files detail instances of Cuban operatives infiltrating these movements, providing not just ideological guidance, but also hands-on training. This aspect of Cuba's involvement highlights a calculated effort to ensure that these movements were not only ideologically aligned with Castro's vision, but also strategically equipped to execute their plans. Financial support emerged as a crucial element in this expansive strategy. The documents outline a clandestine flow of funds from Cuba to various revolutionary factions, showcasing the Castro regime's commitment to financing insurgencies. This financial backing was not merely a gesture of goodwill. It was a calculated investment in the future of socialism in Latin America. By providing the necessary resources, Cuba aimed to create a domino effect, where the success of one movement could inspire others, thereby amplifying its revolutionary influence across the region. Perhaps one of the most alarming revelations from the declassified files is the extent of Cuba's involvement in supplying weapons to these guerrilla forces. The documents detail the covert operations through which arms were funneled to insurgents, equipping them for armed conflict. This direct provision of military resources underscores the aggressive nature of Cuba's ambitions. It was not enough for Castro to simply inspire revolution. He sought to ensure that these movements had the means to succeed, often through violent means. The willingness to supply weapons illustrates a commitment to a confrontational approach, one that prioritized the overthrow of governments deemed antagonistic to socialism. Venezuela emerges as a focal point in this narrative, repeatedly identified as a primary target for Cuban-backed revolutionary efforts. The strategic importance of Venezuela cannot be overstated. It was seen as a linchpin in Cuba's broader ambitions for the region. The documents reveal that Castro and his associates were acutely aware of Venezuela's potential as a staging ground for further revolutionary activities. The formation of the Armed Forces of National Liberation, FALN, in Venezuela exemplifies this strategic thinking. This unified command structure was designed to coordinate guerrilla operations with a ruthless efficiency that underscored the sophistication of Cuban involvement. The FALN's establishment represents a significant evolution in the nature of revolutionary activity in the region. It was not merely a collection of disparate groups, it was a concerted effort to create a cohesive force capable of challenging the Venezuelan government. This level of organization indicates a deep commitment from Cuba to ensure that the revolutionary movements were not only ideologically aligned, but also operationally effective. The documents suggest that Castro viewed the success of the FALN as critical to the realization of his vision for a socialist Latin America. The implications of these revelations extend beyond the historical context of the Cold War. They invite a re-evaluation of the dynamics of power and influence in Latin America. The active involvement of Cuba in supporting revolutionary movements raises questions about the nature of sovereignty and the extent to which external actors can shape the political landscape of a nation. It also highlights the fragility of governments that found themselves in the crosshairs of this revolutionary fervor, often struggling to maintain stability in the face of external subversion. As the narrative unfolds, it becomes clear that Cuba's actions were part of a broader ideological struggle, one that sought to redefine the political order in Latin America. The documents reveal a deliberate strategy to undermine existing governments, often through violent means, in pursuit of a vision of socialism that Castro believed was both just and necessary. This aggressive posture not only destabilized individual nations, but also contributed to a climate of fear and uncertainty across the region. And as governments grappled with the reality of internal dissent fueled by external support. In conclusion, the declassified JFK Assassination Document 157 provides a chilling insight into the machinations of Fidel Castro's Cuba, as it sought to export its revolutionary ideals throughout Latin America. The evidence of training, financial support, and arms supply illustrates a calculated and aggressive approach to subversion, with Venezuela standing out as a key battleground in this ideological war. These revelations not only enrich our understanding of the Cold War era, but also serve as a reminder of the complexities of international relations and the enduring impact of revolutionary movements on the political fabric of nations. The legacy of this period continues to resonate, influencing contemporary discussions about sovereignty, intervention, and the pursuit of ideological goals in the international arena.